Darren, can you talk a little bit about yourself for 30 seconds to 60 seconds?
So my name is Darren. I'm from Canada. I live in Toronto, and I've been traveling back and forth to Vietnam for the last 6-7 years, mostly short stints, like 2 or 3 months. This time, going back to explore Asia, particularly Vietnam in more detail, because I plan to live here in the future, have a family, start a career. So right now, my kick stream, Darren Walking By, as well as my YouTube channel by the same name, I talk about the process of a foreigner, somebody living in the West, trying to move back to a place in Asia like Vietnam, and all the ups and downs of starting a new career, a new life here.
How did you get into streaming? How long have you been streaming? Or I guess how long have you been making content? What inspired you to start making content?
So I used to work in finance in a regular corporate job, and just like a tall tower, on an afternoon, on a Tuesday, I look outside the window and I see like a young man walking his dog in like a nice sunny day, and I'm like, what am I doing here? And at that point, I was in my job for a couple of years, and I realized what I wanted was more freedom. So I took a break to kind of start my own business and do some investing. But you know, like starting a business is very difficult. So I started to do traveling instead with the money I saved up working in that job. So I thought it's a good idea to kind of start a YouTube channel documenting my experience traveling, as well as maybe potentially make money out of it. So that's my first entry into content creation.
What year was this?
This is about maybe 7 years ago, and just recently I started doing more live streaming because I realized that AI is going to have an upper hand on creating, you know, trying to blog an informational video about prices and the culture and stuff. But live streaming is very hard for AI to replicate. Real interaction with people, questions about culture, about their life experiences and emotions, as well as lessons that they learn to kind of better their life. I feel that's something that you could do better as a live streamer than any AI program can do. And also I like the fun interactive part of live streaming as well. So I really seriously dived into live streaming in the last about 5 months, and I quite enjoy it to this point, although it is a new set of challenges to do live streaming.
What are some of those challenges?
So in live streaming, you have to be in front of an audience, and you don't have the time to edit out parts that you don't like. So literally people are watching you, dozens or hundreds of eyeballs at some point live, and you have to perform then and there. Whereas in making YouTube videos, you can just film what you like and turn it off. Live streaming, you have to display your life, and you lose a lot of privacy as a result of that. And because it's live audience, although it's fun, you get to interact with people and gather information from them about things you should do and advices and stuff. The downside of that is that you take requests from the live audience as well. Sometimes they will push you to do things outside of your comfort zone, or want you to do longer hours to keep the audience entertained. And if you don't have a strong mental state, or you don't have a strong vision for your channel, you can fall adrift to what the chat is telling you to do.
So what are some of your best experience from making content and worst experience from making content, either making videos or live streaming?
The first thing that comes to my mind is the best experiences. I actually have a lot of good experiences doing content creation. So when you ask me that, the first thing that comes to mind is the people that I meet on live stream. That's one of the biggest benefits of doing live streaming, is people become very curious in your camera. They will come to you and wave and talk to you just because you have a camera. Now, on the other side of the coin, there's people that will avoid you because you have a camera. So they will shun you, sometimes they yell at you if they're, for example, doing certain jobs that are not very proud to be public. So there are instances that people yell at you, but I cherish the moment where I meet people just through live streaming, and then they share about your life, and the energy is elevated just simply because they're on live stream. And usually it's younger people that can relate to live streaming. So definitely the people I meet. Secondly is the place I get to go. Sometimes I wouldn't go do an experience, but because of the live stream, I would go pay for the place or go in and try the food, try the drink, just to do the live stream. And I'm glad that I did it, because it's like, oh, I normally wouldn't go here, but because of the live stream, it allowed me to experience more. So my travel experiences has been richer through the experience of live streaming than my previous trips where I did not live stream. The downside of live streaming that most memorable for me is when I first started Kick. So I used to do mostly live streaming on YouTube, but my friend introduced me to Kick because it's more a streamer-centric platform. So it's got more tools and more features for streamers, and you get to keep more money as well. So when I moved over to Kick, I met a friend, John was going on, and he streamed late night. So when I started streaming with him, my hours started going late. So about a week into live streaming on Kick, an audience member told me that I should do a 24-hour challenge. And at that point, I was hitting around like 10 hours already. So I'm like, oh, you know, it's not, I'm about halfway there already. So I pushed myself to try to get to the 24-hour for no reason at all, just because someone suggested it. And by the time it was like 17 hours, I was super tired. I got like a little bit dizzy, and it's not a good feeling at all. And I went home, and I was going to continue to do the live stream, like a room stream. But I was too tired, so I actually ended up like offing the camera around like almost 18 hours. So far from being 24 hours, but I was completely like exhausted, and I was sleeping for maybe 15 hours after that. And even after my long sleep, I didn't recover. So at the end of the day, what I realized was like you have to do things at your own pace. Sometimes when you're rushing things too much, outside your comfort zone is not the best.
I think it's easier to do a 24-hour stream if you're in front of the computer all day just playing video games.
Yeah.
But if you have to walk around and talk to people, it's very difficult. So let's talk about finances. So a lot of people can't afford to just travel to a different country for an extended period of time. So how are you able to support yourself financially on all this?
So like I said, I used to work a full-time job for about 6-7 years, and I made a lot of savings through that. And luckily, I'm also not a big spender. I don't like drinking or smoking. I'm partying sometimes, only when I get dragged out by friends. So as a result, I was able to save up a lot of money. And also, there's a point in time where I lived with my parents, so I save on rent and also food. So upon that time, I was very lucky because I started my Vietnamese channel there in Canada. So originally, I'm a Vietnamese YouTuber. My Vietnamese, although it's not perfect, but it's pretty good, and I can add a little twist because of my Canadian background. So it's very different from the typical Vietnamese YouTuber, and people found interest in that. So I started around the lockdown period where everybody's inside watching YouTube. So my channel actually picked up really fast, and I made quite a bit of money from my Vietnamese channel. And from that day until now, I could continue to make money on that channel as well. And later on, because I'm more comfortable speaking English and I find more opportunities, I think there's a lot of potential in an English channel and English live streaming. That's why now I'm doing this. But I can continue to make income through my Vietnamese channel. So anytime I need money, I just post a video on that channel and I make money from that.
Are you still making videos for that channel? And a year ago, before you came to Vietnam, what kind of content were you making on that channel before you came here?
Mostly I cover like expenses when you travel, culture shock if any, and tips on how to travel. Mostly covering like a life of a Vietnamese Canadian experiencing Vietnam. I travel to other countries as well, like Thailand and Japan and stuff. People do watch it, but not as much. They like my content the most when I'm in Vietnam because a lot of viewers, just like myself, we are location-specific viewer. So we watch for certain areas, and Vietnam is a big hit on my English and my Vietnamese channel.
Where are some of the cities and countries that you have visited and record videos at, and which were your favorite places to visit, and which were your least favorite places to visit?
In Vietnam or in the world?
In the world, that you
world.
make content. That you record a video for YouTube or Kick?
I would have to say it's Vietnam because I speak both Vietnamese and English. So whenever I stumble upon somebody that don't speak English, I can just switch over to speak Vietnamese with them, and they become like surprised by my skill level in the language, and they open up to me. And actually, a Vietnamese language is a very deep language too. It's not a superficial language where you just get to know each other on the surface level or like a business sense. It's like a language where you emotionally connect. And because I am like an old soul, I like to connect with people on a deep level. So I have conversation with people in Vietnamese, and I can hit a nerve with them to get really deep. And I like having deep conversation. I'm very philosophical. So I ask people like really deep questions that bring out like another side of them. So I think Vietnam is that place where I feel comfortable, like filming and talking to people the most, especially here in Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon, because this is like a young city and people are very open. So it's easy to bump into somebody and talk, and they're polite and they love having guests. They're very hospitable toward guests, whereas other regions, they may be more shy, reserved. Ho Chi Minh City is the best place to connect with people.
Do you plan to go stay at other cities in Vietnam and make content as well to like expand the content, I guess the reach? I mean, different areas like Hanoi or Da Nang or Hue or any other cities?
Yes, for my Vietnamese channel, I have done that in the past. Like went to Nha Trang, Hanoi, Ninh Bình, and even like I said, like to go to Cambodia and Thailand. So if you go to my Vietnamese channel, you see a lot of videos from different regions of the world. But because my Darren Walking By channel, my English channel, got created later, it's when like I got the travel bug like out of me. When I was younger, I was more excited to like jump around longer. This phase of my life, I want to explore one city deeper so I can live there. So I don't move around as much. I don't have as much enthusiasm to move because I feel like I've been to the place I want to go. But I think once I get back onto the road again, the travel bug will wake up once again and you'll see me in more locations. But definitely I want to film in more cities. I think one of the best places I heard is Thailand, where a lot of creators are. In content creation, collaboration is very important. And there's a lot of content creators in Thailand right now for some reason. In the future, it feels like they may be migrating to Vietnam. That may be the next hot spot because of visa issue and stuff. There's other things happening and it's getting more expensive in Thailand. But for now, Thailand is still that hot spot that I want to go to do content. Another place I want to go to is Korea because I haven't been there yet. Although in terms of content, I'm not sure it's going to be a hit or not, but I'm excited to see Korea. And a definitely good hit is Japan, although they're becoming stricter because there's a lot of nuisance streamers and content creator, which is unfortunate for the rest of us who just want to do like really good, clean content. But Japan is always the hit for everybody. Everyone is always intrigued about what's happening in Japan.
I guess the content can be good if you can collaborate with more people as well. Do you follow any social content creators in like South Korea? I follow Doobie Doo Bob. She makes food videos, and then Jimmy Kim, he makes food videos as well. Yeah. Are you familiar with them, and do you follow anyone else?
Nope, I don't follow any of those people, and actually it could come across as a little bit shocking, but I actually don't follow many creators. The reason is I believe that if you want to be an original content creator, you should focus on your own interests and passion and your own style, whatever is special about you, and you want to bring that out. The more you watch other people, the more washed you're going to be. The more influenced, watered down you're going to be of them. So I watch people for location specific, like I said, because I want to see what's going on in that area, how does it look like, or maybe a place I want to go see. But I don't want to watch them long enough to adopt their characteristic. I want to keep something that is unique to me. And I think that's going to be something that's going to set you apart, because if somebody wants to watch John, they don't want to see a second version of John, a Temu version. They want to see the original guy. So anybody we look up to, we have to be careful not to emulate them too much so that we can keep our own trait, something that we can build on in the future. And people could say, oh, this guy's unique. And if I want to watch this type of content, I got to go to Sang. I don't want to go to another person. So I don't follow a lot of creators.
So you mentioned that you want to move to Vietnam and stay here long term. So how do you see that? How do you see your life like whenever you are able to move here permanently?
I think I see my life building a family, having children probably. Still debating about that, but I think more so having children, having a family, and traveling sometimes to make content and also for personal exploration. I love traveling. I love seeing new places, trying new food and stuff. So if I pick a city, let's say Thao Dien District 2, maybe rent a place long term there, build a circle of friends, a tight circle of friends, do content mostly in that location, and then maybe twice, 3 times a year, have a short trip somewhere. And Vietnam is a good place for that because we are so central around this whole Southeast Asia, or all of Asia actually. To fly is very quick, maximum 5 hours at most, and there's some places that's like 30 minutes, an hour away. So I think this is a good place to set home base and then yeah, build something solid and then just travel once in a while for the foreseeable 5-10 years. And then we don't know what's going to happen after that. Maybe I want to go back to Canada. Maybe my wife, want to go somewhere else. So I think maybe after that, we'll take it as it comes.
So you mentioned that you want to live in Vietnam and then you want to start a family. So does that mean that you're looking for a wife in Vietnam to marry and settle down with, and not someone from Canada?
At this point in time, yes, I'm leaning toward that. But if it's 100%, I don't know. I think we got to go where fate takes me as well. Because there is a benefit of meeting somebody and marrying somebody from Canada, because even though I'm Vietnamese by ethnicity, but I know Canada very well. I've lived there all my life pretty much, and I have family there, I have friends there. It's a place where I'm very comfortable in. So having a family and starting a career and making money there, I feel like it would be very nice. It's kind of like easy mode. But again, easy mode is also boring. And I feel like Asia is contrast to that. It's a little bit challenging, it's a little bit exciting, and at this phase of my life, I feel like I want to take on that challenge to find somebody and marry here. But it's 100%? No. In case I marry someone in Canada later, you can pull up this interview and said I went against my word. So there's a possibility I might go back to Canada and marry and settle down there.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years? What's your goal? Like, what do you want to accomplish in 10 years? By 10 years.
Hopefully in 10 years, if we're still on the path that we are, I will have a larger community of great people. Right now, I'm very lucky to stumble upon like a very good community of solid people who cares about my channel, who cares about progression of my career, and that we can chat to and have fun like friends. So I hope to build on that community to make a stronger community, having a solid amount of people following me throughout my journey of exploring Asia and settling down and building a career online. Maybe also another aspect I see is doing some type of business, perhaps running my own brand or a business under my own name, or being ambassador to a bigger brand, just doing brand promotion or something like that. But I think I feel like in 10 years I would spawn to something that's like outside of just social media and do like more business and sales.
Okay. For the people that wants to follow in your footsteps and move to Vietnam or Asia and live here semi-permanently and make content, what advice do you have for those people?
Number one, you have to realize that it's not easy. I feel like a lot of people understand this, but I think it's very important for everybody to understand it. It's content creation. It's extremely hard. It's not just picking up your phone and then when you see other people do videos, right? And you see that their video get 10,000, 50,000 views, and you're like, whoa, that's the kind of view you get. But there's only one of that person out of like hundreds of people. A lot of people discontinue their venture into content creation, or they just barely struggling to get by with a few hundred or a few thousand views. So the first thing that people have to realize is that, is this what I want to do? Is this really what I want to do a long term? Not like I'm going to jump in 3 months and I'll be rich. So once you have that mindset, then I think you will be on a more solid foundation to start your career. That's the first thing, you have to understand that. And then once you know that, then you have to do everything that you possibly can to push forward your vision of becoming that YouTuber or streamer that you want. So I think that's a good launch pad to start. So understanding that it is going to be difficult, it's hard to make money, and then accepting that and doing everything you can to be the best that you can in your field. I think that's the best advice I can give. And to be the best in your field, you have to do something that you're really passionate about and not do things that are in trend or other people are doing. For example, when back in the day when I first started, I have debated to do like financial videos and talking about the stock market and stuff like that, because I've seen people like Stephen Graham do it very well. But at the end of the day, I feel like you have to do the type of content that you're really passionate about and that you are interested to do it in the long term. You know a lot about it, you want to learn about it, and you don't mind talking about it for years and years. And that's the kind of content that you want to do.
how can people afford to be able to do what you do and come here to Vietnam or Asia, stay here for a while to make content?
I think if you don't have a large amount of money saved up, you should focus on cost minimization. So when you come here, you have to look for a very cheap rental or room with somebody else. It's like the beginning of any business or any venture, right? Like I've heard the stories where like Elon slept under his desk and stuff like that. So it's all these is real. You know, you have to start out of your garage. You have to sleep, you know, randomly, and you have to eat instant noodles sometimes. So cost minimization is very important when you first start, because then if you live like a normal or lavish life, you're gonna run out of funds and you won't make it to the point where your channel is giving you good returns for you to sustain your lifestyle. So unless you have a lot of money, then whatever goes. Like those people have money, they don't need to heed that advice. But if you're just starting out and you only have a few $1,000s, first of all, it's very risky to come here with a few $1,000s. If you do, you have to like do everything you can to minimize your expenditure and live very frugal, and then just fuel your dream bit by bit, you know, and then push with everything you have. You can't half-ass it. You have to push like full throttle forward. It's not like, oh, I'll make one video a week or when I feel like it. It's like you gotta go, go, go. That's why the first thing I told you was like, it's something that you're interested about, you're passionate about. Because when you have the passion, then you can push forward easier. You don't have to like try to force yourself to work. You just get up and you go at it. And that's important for you to succeed.
So let's say there's a person that wants to move to Asia or Vietnam to make content, and then they have enough savings to live here for a year. How far in advance should they start making videos before they move over here? And do you think they should be making videos for a year or 2 years before they even consider moving to Asia?
I think it depends on what type of content you're making. If you're making like travel or Vietnam's lifestyle video, then you just learn the basics of uploading videos and doing thumbnails and all that stuff, like, you know, all the technical stuff, and then make video when you're here, or even make just 1 or 2 video of you selling stuff and wrapping up to go. You don't want to establish a channel, let's say in Los Angeles for a year and then come to Vietnam, because now your content will be based in LA. Then the algorithm will think of you as an LA creator. So when you come to Vietnam, you won't hit as hard. So if your content is building a life in Vietnam, just make 2 or 3 videos before you go. Guys, this is my new adventure. I'm gonna go to Vietnam. Here's my house. I'm gonna sell everything. Here's the reason why I'm moving to Vietnam, and this is what I don't like about this life. Let's go, let's do this thing together. Follow my adventure, let's do it. But you don't want to make 6 month, a year video of like walking around downtown LA and then go to Vietnam. Then your content won't do well, because you're going to be stuck in that box.
All right, the video is 25 minutes. Is there any other information that we had to talk about or you want to share with the viewers?
Any topic at all?
Anything, yeah, this is the last question, I guess. We're going to wrap it up.
I think one last final thought, if we're talking about just content creation itself, if you guys really want to do this, kind of assess what is your passion in life. What is your main goal to do it? If you want to do this to make money, it's fine. If you want to do this because you're passionate about it, it's fine. But don't lie to yourself. What is it that you're going after when you're doing this? Because now you have a clear vision of where you're going, right? You have like your radar on that goal, and you just push toward it. You don't get confused while you're here. It's not a good thing or a bad thing that you want to make money out of this and you're just doing it for money. Or it's your passion project and you're like, I want to be the greatest creator ever lived, and people are gonna love the deep content or the rich content I'm gonna put out there. Whatever it is, you have to decide for yourself before you go on this journey, and then that's gonna be like your guiding light when you're doing it. But don't confuse yourself, and don't lie to yourself or others about, oh, I'm only doing this for passion, but really you want money. Because then you're fooling yourself too, and it's gonna be harder for you to reach your goal. So, you know when they say if you're gonna chop down a tree, you spend like, and you have 20 hours, you spend 15 hours like sharpening the axe. It's kind of like that. You spend 5 hours chopping the tree. The process before you go into the journey is even more important than the journey itself. So when you sit down, you realize what is it that you're doing this for, then when you go through all the struggle, like I mentioned before, the hardships, and there will be a lot of hardships through content creation. In those dark moments, you can pull back those times that you assess why you're doing this. It's going to be the motivation and inspiration to push you, to keep you going forward. So any of you guys who are doing this, good luck to you. And if you made it, you definitely deserve it, because this is not easy. So now every time when I see a content creator, they have 1,000 viewers, 100 viewers, I'm very happy for them, because I know that they definitely deserve it, because it's not easy to do this. So I'm happy for everyone that actually make it. And hopefully for you and I as well.
Well, thank you for your time. How can people find you on social media?
So I'm most active on Instagram, YouTube, and Kick. And it's Darren Walking By on all of them. Darren Walking By on all platforms. So I post a lot of shorts as well as updates about the things I do daily on Instagram. And I live stream sometimes on YouTube and a lot of times on Kick.
Do you want to share your Vietnamese channel as well on YouTube?
Yeah, so if you guys understand Vietnamese, go to Darren Canada or Người Bạn Canada ở trên YouTube, and you'll find many more videos back to, like I said, 5-6 years ago when I first started this journey.
Thank you a lot for your time.
Thank you, Sang.
Thank you.
Best of luck, buddy.
Best of luck to
See
you
you guys.
too.